Hey guys, welcome back to my channel here. This is Penguin Tech. Today I'm going to give you my thoughts and first impression, or perhaps the review of the Asus ROG Strix OLED XG27AQWMG. So I think I've been using it for about a week, a month now. This is my first ever OLED monitor. I transitioned from a 27 VA panel. So yeah, just wanted to share my thoughts on this. So first off, I got this on sale at 2.1k ringgit. So that's a very good price for this monitor. That's I think about 500 USD. So it really was a bargain for this price. In any case, let's just go through the specs first. You see, this is the 27-inch 1440p true black glossy tandem OLED 4th gen tandem by LG. Yeah, so this is using LG panel. It's a woled, and then you get 280 hertz, 0.03 ms of, I think it's response time, and then you got this near proximity sensor on the bottom of the screen here, and it comes with the Asus OLED Care Pro, the ELMB as well. Versa display HDR trueback 500, so this is able to display HDR content up to 500, and 99% DCI-P3, and it comes with the Asus program called the Display Widget Center. So without further ado, let me tell you my experience on using this monitor. First off, it is a 26.5 inch monitor, so yeah, so it's not exactly 27. So as a first time OLED user, I think these manufacturers reserve about 0.5 inch for their pixel shifting. So basically, if you look at this screen now, you see that the bezel on the right is quite a bit thinner than the one on the left, and this is what they call the pixel shifting, where they are using more pixels on the right here than on the left. This is to prevent OLED burning. So sometimes you can also see that the left bezel is thinner and the right bezel is thicker. So they shift in times because they want to use the different pixels just so that they don't display the same colors over a long period of time. Yeah, so this is one of the anti-burning feature. So if you ask me, does it impact you during day-to-day use? I mean, at first when I noticed it, I was like, yes, I can see the difference between the bezel, but overall, after some usage, your brain just kind of ignores it. So it's actually not a big deal. But just be aware that whenever you get a 27-inch monitor, it's actually 26.5 inch. So it's definitely going to be smaller than your VA, your IPS or micro LED 27-inch. Yeah. And then this monitor features the new tandem OLED technology, which offers 15% higher peak brightness. It's actually quite bright for an OLED, in my opinion. 25% larger color volume, 60% longer OLED lifespan as claimed versus the previous generation OLED panel. So yeah, one of the reasons I buy the 4th gen instead of the 3rd gen is really because of the marketed, they say it's 60% longer OLED lifespan, and also it's brighter. I think this is using the RGBW layer, and not to mention this features the true black glossy coating, and it is really dark. The black is really black, and then the color really pops. But if you're worried about the reflection, to be honest, it's not that serious. If you look at the screen now, I mean, I've got this white light over here. This isn't the light that is reflected here. I actually got another white light at the back of the room. It's actually outside the room. So let me shut off that light, and you won't see that light. So there you go. I've already shut off the light outside. It's actually one of my kitchen. But if I shut it off, I won't see this light. So I would say, even if you have some decent lights in your room, don't be worried. I don't think it's too reflective. I usually use it at you know, I changed my room color, but you can see there's just no impact at all. And it's really wonderful if you use it in the dark room. And in fact, this brightness is only at 30% now, HDR. So you can see the dark is it's very black compared to my IPS screen, stuff like that. So yeah, let me just put it back into my light. And yeah, it's really wonderful. And if you look at the text, right, I to me, it's really clean. It's not any difference when I use it on the VM panel, and it doesn't even cause me eye straining also. I would say, I mean, I read online that people say is that even the 4th gen, the tandem OLED, can give you a bit of eye straining, but honestly, to me, there is no difference at all. The text is as crisp as the VL or IPS monitors, and then I don't get any eye straining. In fact, I also use it for my work, office work, so it's been really wonderful. And as you can see, the trueblack glossy panel provides zero haze, surface an exceptionally sharp image. Now, to be honest, this is also one of the reasons why I go for this model. It's really also because of the trueblack glossy. It's been a wonderful experience. Now, maybe before I go to the other things, you know, maybe I want to talk about this near proximity sensor. Now, this is something I'm not sure if I like it or not, because I mean, if I'm being aware of the market right now, really only Asus ROG STRIX includes this near proximity sensor as of now on their OLED gaming monitors. So I mean, when it works because when it detects you are around, the screen really pops back out, and if you're not around, the screen just turns it off itself, really to prevent the OLED burning. So, and you can, you know, set the settings so like let's say, yeah. So you can go under the OLED Care near proximity sensor here, distance select. You can set it to 60, 90, 120, or even tailored mode. And then if you screen off, is how long? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. So yeah, but the thing is, honestly, I really don't understand how it works, because even if you sit really still in front of a monitor, even within the distance, and if you didn't move at all, the screen will actually go dim itself. So I'm not quite sure if this is really called near proximity or even motion sensor. Even though if you move if you don't go close to it, and then you move your chair, like I played with my chair before, it really doesn't start the screen itself. But then, so it's not exactly motion as well, right? But then if you sit in front of it very still for, like, let's say I'm gaming very focused on my racing games, it can turn it off itself, which is sometimes quite frustrating. So I think Asus really needs to work on this its sensing pathway, because it doesn't work sometimes. It can get annoyed, like when you are in a tense moment during gaming, like you're shooting at people in a game, and then suddenly it goes dim, and then you're like, what the heck just happened? And then you have to like quickly shake your head, and then only it turns back on. So yeah, maybe some people you want to leave it off. So that's the thing you can do. So yeah, and then there's this ROG logo here. The lights, you can turn it on, you turn it off. But then in performance mode, which I always set this in, if the monitor is in sleeping mode, this lights always turns on. So, you know, some people who are sleeping with monitor on their table in the same room, you might find it annoying. So that's one thing you want to be mindful of. Then before that, this is the stand itself, very small but also very flat, and so give you more space to put things on top of it. And then you got this stand here, which has hole in here for your cable management. You can actually adjust the height. This is actually the maximum height, which is pretty short. I mean, that's common for most of the stock monitor stand. And then you can swivel, you can pivot, you can tilt, everything you can do with it. And then you got this keyhole here. I think it's for you to mount your mic or your webcam easily. And then you got this, I don't know if you can see it, let me try my best, but I think I turned it off, but there's a ROG logo label here, so but I've turned it off. And if you look at this design, this is very thin. The OLED panel is really thin, and it's very game like setting, you know. So but you gotta give it away, it's quite heavy for this monitor. Even my, you know, stock monitor arms, I didn't use it only because this is too heavy for it, so I had to resort for this stock monitor stand. The base is metal, but the stand is plastic, but it is very sturdy. This is one of the sturdiest monitor base I've used so far. And this is glass, so I've got this, it's come with this microfiber cloth, so I use it to wipe the surface. And oh right, and also because this is a woled, and then their coating is a bit is thicker than most current 3rd gen QD OLED monitors, so I'm less worried when I go and clean it, you know, wipe it or something, because I heard that the coating for QD OLED is, I think it's 2H, and it's very easily scratched even with microfiber cloth. So yeah, if you want something worry free, yeah, definitely woled. For in terms of vertical branding, which is very common among this woled, especially the 4th gen. On my unit, it's actually pretty much non-existent. I've done the vertical gray banding video tests. You know, you can check out my channel. But even before and after the firmware update, which is right now I'm on MCM 107, which is set to fix a lot of the vertical bending issues. But even before that, this monitor shipped with MCN 105, but even then the vertical bending is pretty good. So for this model, the XG27AQWMG, if I read on the Reddit, yeah, if you can try and find those manufactured in February 2026 or after, and as far as I can tell, you can't really tell from the box itself, so it's a bit hard. Yeah, but yeah, do the vertical gray bending test when you get it. So one of the things I also want to share is it does come with USB upstream, so you can connect it to your desktop. So it does provide a wire, and it also provides a wire for your HDMI as well as display port. So this HDMI is actually HDMI 2.1. I'm not quite sure if the display is 1.4 or 2.1. It's probably 1.4 because it's only 1440p, right? So yeah, custom heatsink, extreme low motion blur, 3 years of warranty, yeah. So, and also that includes the burn-in warranty as well. And then uniform brightness, aspect control, stuff like that. So yeah, really, if I scroll into here again, honestly, if you can see the reflection here, but it's not obvious. And if you're gaming and if you view bright content, it really doesn't catch your attention at all. And so back to the IOs, I also want to mention that it has two USB-A, and so you can use it as a USB hub. Basically, if you connect your USB upstream to your desktop, you get 2 more USB slots, which is good. And then you have 2 HDMI. So if you look at this input here, you can set it to auto input detection. You get 1 display port and 2 HDMIs. So it's actually quite, and it's easy to switch between the screens. I use it for my work, and then so it's been pretty helpful. And then it also has a headphone jack at the back of the monitor here, and also of course the Kensington lock, I think, and then also the power connect. So if I remember correctly, it doesn't come with a power supply block, so you just need to connect the usual power supply cable, which is good. I like the minimalistic design. Yep, so as a recap, this is the 4th gen tandem OLED here, where they basically added, I think they removed some yellow layer and then swap it with blue and a green layer, so it gives you more brightness. And to be honest, I think this is like a 350 or 450 max brightness. I think more to 350, I believe. But it's really already too bright for me. So even now I'm using at 30% brightness. I don't even use it over 30% brightness for any content at all. So I kind of like overestimated the brightness. I didn't go for the QD OLED because I worry it's mostly 200 nits or for the lower end and 250 nits for the higher end. So I went for this woled, but then really 250 is more than enough for me. So yeah, that's my finding. So yeah, this is just to let you know, guys, know that this is trueblack glossy woled. Again, as you can see, it's really deep black, and I think it's really helped with the, the overall feel when you compare the difference between the VL or IPS with the woled, glossy woled, and there's just no backlight leak. And as I mentioned, you see height adjustment, swivel, tilt, pivot, everything is in there. There's some mountable as well, right? Aspect ratio control, display, widget center. And this software is actually really good because if you don't want to use this joystick thing to control the settings, you can actually install this display widget center for adjusting every settings that you can do it from here, which is on the go, pretty good. And then you can also update the firmware here, so which is very helpful. And yeah, it's a display for 1.4 DSC, USB hub, HDMI 3.1. So all the the specs are here on the left here. Show more. 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A. Yeah. So overall, if you ask my impression of this monitor, honestly, for 2.1K, if you can get it on sales, really like a 500 USD, this is really a bargain. And if you can get batches produced in February 26th or after, and then do some pixel cleaning from time to time, and then update it to the latest firmware, and if you should pretty much have no issue on the particle bending issue. But then yeah, so really this is a bit of a lottery, but to be honest, you're pretty safe if you get the batches in February and after. So as a first time OLED user, I'm really impressed with the technology, especially the color pop, especially in HDR content in games, and then the blackness is really good when you view games, and you have no worries about the text whatsoever. So yeah, that's about it, guys. If you have any questions about this monitor, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer. But other than that, I'm very, very satisfied with this monitor. And if you ask me which 4th gen tandem OLED monitor to get, it's definitely this model among all of the 4th gen tandem, simply because of the true black glossy coating and the near proximity sensor, even though it doesn't work sometimes, and I really need to feedback Asus on this. And good pricing, great warranty coverage. Yeah, this is the one to go. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.